Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of the Unlaced podcast. I thank you for all coming along. If you're new here, I do thank you. Please give us a like and subscribe. It definitely means a lot. It's how we grow. And obviously, if you've come back, as I say, I absolutely love you. We've had a big year, as I've stated throughout. It's been absolutely massive with guests, and no bigger than last week in Jackie Lauder. She is the best in her field in forms of psychology. She works with Collingwood, Melbourne Storm, across the AFL Women's, but she's just an absolute superstar. And mental health's been a very popular topic for all the listeners out there that wanted to check it out. So get across and listen to that one if you haven't already. Now, I don't know where to start with this one, but without doubt, this has been the most requested part 2 of a podcast, maybe in human history, because my DMs have been blowing up and we've been trying to find the right time to do it. But Jordan to Goey, geez, I hate saying your full name. That doesn't feel comfortable.
Don't say it. It feels weird.
Jordy. I call you Jordan, but mate, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I think last episode got cut short a little bit with COVID. We were just speaking about it, so it's good to be back on the potty.
I know, man. Are you going to be all? Are we going to be all corporate on this, or are we going to try and really get the nestle in and get the best out of you?
I think we nestle in quite well usually, so we should be right.
Mate, how's the off season been? Tell me about it. It's a bit weird. You've come off a pretty big high with the season that happened, and then it's almost like boom, off a cliff and sitting still and figuring out what's next, I guess, for the next few months.
Yeah, spot on. It's been an interesting one. I think last year in general was really exciting. I think we got a really good young list, and we had some boys who really showed what sort of players they can be in the future. So for me now, it's just about travelling, relaxing, getting back into training, which has actually been really enjoying for me personally, and then just going from there. But a well-needed rest, that's for sure.
Do you know what's funny is you say resting, but Jesus, have you trained as hard as you've at this part of the off season? Have you ever trained this hard? Mate, you are off your head at the minute. You are the diet and running and workouts and stuff. It's I'm actually been co-signed to this. Yeah, which I fell short the other day.
No, you did well. You did well. No, you're probably right. It's probably right up there with everything that I've done before, but just in terms of getting running coaches, dietitians and stuff like that, just really wanted to hit the ground running. And I think it's just building those little habits now that will hold me in good stead for the season. So,
yeah. So what is the type of stuff you do now? Is it purely cardio and fitness based? Are you doing strength stuff now? Because you've always been pretty strong, but do you just focus on certain areas, or it's everything you're trying to cover?
I think it's been pretty well documented that in order to play in the midfield, you need a big tank. And at times I probably didn't have the biggest tank. So in terms of that, yeah, for me, this off-season is just all about running, just getting as fit as possible. But then also in saying that, you need to do those leg exercises, which are going to hold your muscles in good stead come the year ahead. But yeah, at this stage, I'm really enjoying it. I got a good running coach in Jack Kelly, so we've been putting in some good work, and I just want to keep
the bloke that's making me run?
He's the bloke. He's the bloke that's making
Jack,
me roll.
Fuck you, man. Honestly, bro, I can't breathe. You're flying though. I couldn't believe how quick you were going the other day. It was I was on the electric scooter. I pulled out that one.
I feel I've got to tell the fans, I haven't paid for this. He's just doing this off his own back.
It's serious, mate. We bloody did a time trial the other day, and I was on an electric scooter. I feel like Coach Carter sometimes because I'm just on the street just yelling at you hey.
Sometimes I need it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Just speaking on the midfield, was last year the first full year you had in there, you reckon? Every week, pretty much all the minutes you knew you were going to play there? Or was it the year before as well?
Not really. Year before as well. Probably that last half of, 2021, I played, legitimate mid. And then this year was a little bit of forward, but more mid. So then, next year, I guess we'll just see what happens, obviously, with Tom Mitchell coming into the footy club. So that's another element, which is exciting.
Yeah. He'll just put his head where it needs to be and the ball's going to come straight to you and we're off to the races.
Yeah, I think we've had a good laugh about it. We had a kick around the other day, actually, and, you just get a feeling that I think it's going to work pretty well because, like you said, he's an in and under player and we've got some good ball users around him, but we're looking for that bloke who's going to get his own ball and dish it out to some of our, good distributors like the Dakes boys, Pendlebury's, all these boys can, dish the ball off really well. So it should be exciting.
What was for you, probably given you've kind of sort of now matured into that midfield role, what's probably been the biggest learning curve for you? Like things you've either picked up that you had to translate, because obviously you played as like that forward mid role for so long and were electric at it, but being like an out and out mid, what's kind of the standout thing for you that you're like, fuck, I need to work on this, or that's the most notable aspect of like what you got to be good at?
Probably your running patterns, I guess. So when you play forward, it's pretty simple. You hit up the ground and you get back. Like it's not very hard. Like as long as you got half a reasonable footy brain, you can understand where it's going to go, and you just kind of lead there or break the space. But in the mid, it's hard. It's a hard one to grasp. And I'm lucky I've got, Pendles around me, Tay, these older blokes who have played it for a long period of time. So, they'll teach me little things, or, get in my ear when I'm on the ground, just, some little things to focus on, whether it's just get to as many contests as possible, and you'll give yourself the most opportunity to get the ball. But sometimes, as in any sport, you lose your head a little bit, you get, you lose focus, and sometimes you just need those people to, switch you back on it and give you these little keys just to put you back in the game. Yeah,
I was going to say, because I think for you, because you probably always knew you could play midfield, and I think you probably played there through your sort of juniors and youth ranks and stuff as well. But when you're sort of the go-to guy at times, because you've got a pretty strong midfield, but I noticed throughout the year, like different people were going with you and sort of targeting you as like when you're sort of that X factor for Collingwood when you're on. How did you deal with that? Because that's probably like you've just gone into the midfield and then all of a sudden you're getting tagged as well. So you're not really getting the freest run at the ball sometimes, like particularly the prelim. Fuck me.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell, that was
unbelievable, mate. You're just getting hooked at every stoppage.
The Sydney boys did real well there. Yeah. But I guess in terms of it, especially that game, it's like I'd just put myself as a decoy, because often I'd be the hit two, and then at points of the game where it's almost too obvious. So then, I'll stand in a position where they think I'm going to get the ball, but I'm just practically out of the play, and it frees up blokes like Pendles and Dakes and all these other guys. So, it's a double-edged sword, and it can work really well, but it also can work against you. But in terms of whatever works best for the team, it's like I'm happy to do. So if we can use it as a decoy or a legitimate go-to, it's like we just work that out as the game's going on.
Right, fair enough. Now, we're going to go into obviously a bit more about the season and sort of the last 12 months, particularly with sort of, I guess, the form you've had and the stellar year you had and the recommitment to the club and so forth, which I know everyone will want to hear. But before we have to go into it, we've got a bit of an issue, me and you. We picked up a bug, and it's called the golf bug. And it's literally, which I don't know if we're changing as humans, because all we do is run and play golf. But, mate, it's a game that's changing us in who we are as people.
It's probably saved my life. Nah. Like, you're spot on. It's weird. I hated the game growing up. Mate, I'm the least patient person you've ever met in the world. Yet here I am standing on a golf course taking my time. So, Cobra, Puma Golf, give them a shout out. They were good enough to give me some clubs. And then since then, it's just, I'm obsessed, mate. I don't have any friends anymore. I just fucking spend my time on the golf course and running. We were talking the other day.
We reckon we could both play a round of golf individually, like by ourselves. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's a slight issue for me. It was
a social thing. Now it's becoming like real technical and
yeah.
I actually, how much we've been playing probably like 2-3 times a week at times, like particularly in the off season, we probably even played more sometimes, because it's like, what else can we do?
Yeah, I think the best thing for me, it's just an outlet. Like, a lot of the things I used to like doing, including motorbike riding and all these other activities, it's a bit touch and go with the danger zone. So with golf, it's safe. The club really enjoys you getting away and spending time doing the things you love. So golf, it's a perfect one for me. Plenty of golf courses all around the world. So it gives me an opportunity to travel, but also continue the game that I enjoy playing and have fun doing it.
Oddly enough, was that like a little sanctuary for you through last year, like through all the noise that happened at the start of the year, and then also like through the contract negotiations? Was that like a bit of like a place where like you could just be Jordan in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just, there's no expectation when I'm out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have the outside noise. I don't have random people looking at me expecting me to be good at something just because it's not my job. You know what I mean? So for me, I go out there, I have fun. It's actually funny. I actually told my manager that I was signing with Collingwood. And it all getting approved as we were on the golf course. So that was obviously pretty exciting. So golf has a special moment in my heart. Yeah. But with you, Jackie Jenkins, there's plenty of people we love playing with, and it's just a piss take. So
yeah, and I'm going to give a shout out to one person, Dennis Spanos, our good friend. The worst golf swing I've ever seen that somehow is effective. So, mate, shout out to Vanilla Cafe in Oakley. Anyone that's around there, get down there. Dennis is one of the best hosts in the business with a shocking golf swing, and be sure to let him know that, more importantly. But no, I wanted to have a bit of a fun game here on this because we play a lot of head-to-head golf, and so we've seen the best and by far the worst. So I want us, each other, to define each other's golf game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to define yours and you're going to define mine. I want it to be brutally honest, so the listeners can understand what we're seeing. So I think I'm going to go first because I'll set the tone. Yep. So Jordy Goey on the golf course, ladies and gentlemen. There's no one with more raw talent than this guy. And what I mean is the sheer power and the sheer swing, if it clicks, it's almost not far off potential like PGA sort of stuff, the distance off the tee and whatever it is. He really has some significant issues with club decision. He never knows which club to use. Like I should know, like I turn into your golf caddy and you use clubs that like, you're probably 150 metres away from the pin using like something I would use for like a 50-metre chip. So it's hard to pick up on. One also thing is the patience aspect of the green. And this was in bold for me as of 2 weeks ago. And then the last golf game we had, your putting's changed, but you could get on the green, or the dance floor as we call it, very quickly and capitulate on the green. And now you've started to take a turn. So I'm interested to know a bit more about that, but also I call you, well, there's a few friends we call you two-ball Jordan because if the first tee doesn't go well, be sure that I might hit another one. So that is my summary of you as a golfer.
I appreciate that. That's actually really kind of you. I thought it could have been worse. I thought you were good. I think you summed me up with the putting. Obviously, that's been that's been a big issue of mine.
Remember at one point what were you doing? You started putting left-handed.
Yeah, I've gone through a few stages, started putting left-handed.
That's what I thought it was.
Different grip, bought a different club.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom, yeah, practically, yeah. Almost started putting with my fucking iron, I reckon, by the end of it.
You've been doing some weird stances and stuff.
But now my turn to describe you.
Shit. Okay, let's go.
Loves to tee off pigeon-toed.
Pigeon-toed. I haven't heard that one.
You stand like feet in, which is unorthodox.
You pick that up with people, don't you?
I do. I'm a bit, duck feet and that. Definitely look out for that. It's, I don't know, one of the unusual things I've got inside me. But nice pigeon-toed tee off. Usually it doesn't go the distance you're looking, but it's straight. It's usually straight when you connect.
Percentage golf.
That's how I actually would describe you, a percentage golfer. I think
Fuck.
You're good at all, but you're not great at one, you know? It's just you're happy to just be that bloke who ticks along.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. And the guy that fills the quota.
And I think you've probably got to invest in a new set of clubs. You're using your dad's 25-year-old clubs.
Which apparently were great 20 years ago.
They were great 20 years ago.
Fucking hard to hit with now.
But I think, you still have a bit of an issue letting them go. As you still tell me your irons and shit is still good.
Yeah, no, they're not.
I said times changed. Technology's changed, and I think it's time for a new set.
Fuck. Do you know one thing you probably left out is the old sandpit?
Oh, well, your nickname, Sandpit Barker Dash.
Sandman.
The Sandman.
Yeah.
It's somehow Jake always seems to find the sand.
Even on a good shot.
Well, you always liked that as a kid. Did you like playing in the sand?
No, I hate sand. It fucking sucks. But geez, mate, we've had some fun on the golf course. I think one of the things as well I've noticed, even in the golf sanctuary, I'm like, man, I just find people just like staring at you all the time these days. And it's like, it's getting uncomfortable for me to be around you because I'm like, for you, I'm like, fuck, like people just take a picture. It'll last longer, you know?
Yeah,
but,
literally, yeah.
Have you found like sort of the last 12 months, like the amount of people that are giving you sort of that attention, even in the street, has that like impacted you at all? Like just trying to be yourself, or are you pretty good at blocking it out?
Probably an aspect. I think, in the past I haven't been the best at keeping myself out of the papers and whatnot. But for me personally, it's tough when you get people awkwardly staring, and sometimes you feel like you can't be yourself. So if I know people have noticed me, like I'll walk with my head down, or I just can't really be bothered with that attention, I guess. Like I just want to be able to walk normally without people looking or thinking that I can't hear them when they're talking about me. Like that's frustrating because like I just want to go to a cafe. If you know who I am and you want to say hello or talk to me, like just come talk to me. Like don't sit over
real
there.
Approachable with that, man. That's
of
what
course, I always will be.
I've actually, that was one of the things, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the podcast. Like the amount of photos you've been asked for since I've known you versus the amount of yeses you've said has been 100%. Like literally 100%. There's never been a time where you've said no.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck, man, because I think it's fair enough for people to go, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But you always do, and I'm like, fuck, I always think like, how? Like,
I just much prefer it. Like that's just a normal human interaction. Just come up, say hello. Whether you like Collingwood or don't like Collingwood, or you want a photo, whatever it is, just come and speak to me. Like I'm approachable. Talk to me. I'd much rather you do that than sit over there 2 tables across and me notice you trying to take a photo of me, thinking that I can't see you, because that just makes me feel uncomfortable. It takes me out of a situation with mates. It's just not a good feeling. So just come up, speak to me, whatever it is, but just make it a little bit better than what you've been doing.
Man, I know, seriously. Some people got binoculars on you. It's funny. But for, I guess one of the things with you as well, with when we go places, like the last sort of 2 years with all the noise that's been in the media, it's kind of, do you think like there's an element of, I guess, the general population, obviously the boys and people close to you know that like nothing's really changed, but do you think people view you as like a bit more of an object or like this AFL player on a pedestal like than a human? Like I don't even think people sometimes, like why I say that is because like I don't think people realize that you are human at times. Like I really don't. Yeah. And that fascinates me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think people do at times just think you're almost invincible. Like I deal with stress, I deal with anxiety, I deal with everything else everyone else deals with, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, like I'm in a position where I have to find ways to help me deal with it, so then things don't go public. Like if I break down in public, you know, people know about it. So for me, it's just keeping a hold of that and working with the right people, like Jackie Lauder. Obviously, you did your podcast with her last week.
Yeah.
It's just having those good people in my corner, because at the end of the day, I really care about the people I know and what they think of me, because they know the true me, not what the outside says of me.
Yeah.
Like a good example, like the other day I was just eating lunch and this old lady, she would have been 70, 75, comes over to me and she's like, you know, congratulations, you guys had a great year, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I see Pendlebury's training, why aren't you?
Oh, yeah, that's
what she says to me straight away. First time I've ever met her, and I'm just sitting trying to enjoy lunch.
70-odd, not
70-odd. And she says that to me. And I said, how do you know I'm not training? And she was like, oh, well, I don't. I said, exactly. Well, then I would appreciate you not saying that.
Yeah.
Because that's just proving that people hear these stuff and just automatically believe it. Like just because I'm not one to constantly post photos of me training or doing the other things, like I prefer to do it alone or with a close mate, and just getting things done. Like I'm not all about the glitz and the glamour of it, because at the end of the day, it's hard work, and there's all these other players doing the exact same thing. But sometimes you just get pigeonholed into this category because of your past or something that's happened in your past. So for me, it's if I focused on that, I think it would be really tough. But for me, it's just like trying to build and be something different, like be something better than that.
It's weird that that's at your detriment, that you don't post how hard you work. Because I think sometimes, I reckon that especially the last 12 months, like really intensely. I mean, you've always been really dedicated, but the last 12 months was like, mate, you didn't leave your house. Like, do you know what I mean? Like people don't know that. It was like you'd leave to see like social stuff and then footy. Like, and when I say social, I mean like catch up with me for a coffee or dinner with like the mates, or like you didn't go out. You didn't do anything like literally for freaking 12 to 18 months, it felt like at times in Melbourne, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I just find that pretty crazy, because you don't really post that or share that. So people don't, like, I feel like people don't really give you the credit for how dedicated you are at times.
I think that's one of the things, but it's people think, you know, in the past, oh, he's not dedicated, he doesn't care. These are all the things I got labelled in the past. Has potential, hasn't reached potential, all these things. And it's like, I could give people this fake lifestyle and show them literally everything I do, if that's going to make them, you know, change their opinion on me. But for me, it's not who I am. Like I'm not going to, oh, this is my meal tonight. This is This is the run I got to do today. This is that. Because it's not about that. It's all it is about is putting in the work now. So then when you get back to preseason, you've put in the work and you're as fit as everyone else in the team. That's all this is about right now. Like this isn't about me showing me that, I can work harder than someone else or I deserve more than someone else. This is just like, this is what's expected and you can go above or beyond and it's up to me to do it.
Yeah, do you know what's funny as well with that is like, I don't know why, because everyone knows we're good mates. Like, I'm the bit of the larrikin and a nice guy. Like, everyone always tries to find out what's going on with you through me.
Yeah.
So I cop this fucking abundance of stuff, like fucking hell, man. Like, particularly when stuff's going down. But one thing I always associated with you is like the mental toughness you have, because I might have been speaking to like Jackie or someone about it. And I was like, she's very similar to your mum. And I'm like, thank God you're like that, because I reckon if you were strung like me, you would really hold on to some of the stuff, but you really are good at like, and I reckon you have your own stuff going on, but you really are good at like separating. Like when you play footy, you're playing footy. And like when you're doing something with your mates, that's what you're doing. And you're like in those moments. Like, how were you able to be like that? Have you done anything to be like that? Or is that just the way you're wired to?
I think probably with that, it's growing up, like I never got in a rep team. Like I was never the kid. I was never meant to be anything. I was never meant to be drafted really until I was, maybe 16, 17. Like I was nothing. I was that kid down the local park, like kicking with your old man, practicing your right, left foot, thinking in the back of your head, you believe in yourself, but you're just waiting for an opportunity. That was always me. So it was the same thing, he's not quite good enough, not tall enough, can't find a position in the team for him, just all these same things. So growing up, it was almost expected. I'd go to trials. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
On to the next one. And I just didn't stop trying. I just kept going.
Draft year, that's when you boomed.
Yeah, it was draft year. I think it was my first game for Oakley Chargers and underage. Got in the team, got in the best players in my first game. And then my name wasn't even on the players sheet, which recruiters get given. So then recruiters were ringing the next day asking who this number 60-something is or whatever I was wearing. Literally. And then I was like, oh, this is who he is. Okay. So then they came and watched again. And then the next game I got best on ground. And then from then on, it was like after those two best on grounds, then Vic Metro were like, hey, we want you to come try out. And I was like, wow, Vic, awesome. Vic, you look at all these kids growing up that had the Vic shorts.
Everyone's played
the kids that had the Vic shorts, that was never me.
Yeah,
I was holding on to the Oakley shorts thinking that was good.
I had all the Vic gear.
I had all the Vic gear. And that was like, as a kid, you look at that shit and you're like, fuck.
You hold on to it, man.
You do, don't you? You're like, fuck, that's cool. Like, I want to be that
just
kid.
A bit of cotton. You're like, fuck, I want it, though.
Exactly. And then it's funny as you look at other kids, at the beach or wherever it may be, and they got their footy shorts on, you know what TAC Cup they play for. And it's just funny watching the progression. And now it's like, I don't want to wear Collingwood gear because I feel like people look at me wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you don't. I don't.
You wear sometimes my old soccer shorts to places. So
exactly.
We changed shorts one time.
I know.
That's a prime example.
We did. And that's the thing. It's just that progression of like, you grow up, you get older, and you just like 10 years ago, I never would have thought I'd be in this position now, having this chat with you. Like
we're here.
And everything's been so cool and everything's been great. But I think was that resilience at the start of my career that got me to where I'm now.
Right. Okay.
And will help me moving forward.
Definitely. How did you rate your from a Jordan perspective, because I know you would have spoken to the coach, but last year, because you missed a few games with injury, but most that you played, you played some pretty good games. How did you kind of rate your season last year? Were you content?
Yeah, I think I was up and down. Obviously, had that mid-season shit that happened, and that makes it hard in itself because then you bring another mental aspect into it. And it's hard enough playing footy against the best players in Australia, let alone dealing with other shit and trying to play. So for me, it was tough, but I think, you could see in the finals, like I really started to get going, started playing my best footy and that's kind of where I want to be in the future. It's playing good footy in finals. I think, players can play really well in the season, but if you can play well in finals, it's just like, it shows people that you're there and you're ready, no matter how long the season is, and you're ready to put your hand up when it's really needed to. I think, we were really lucky. We had so many good people put our hands up in finals.
Yeah.
And that's what got us to where we are now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it was pretty crazy that whole period. I mean, you were player of the finals really up until the prelim at one point because you guys were dominating.
yeah, but like that's the thing. You could have picked so many players. Like Darcy played unreal, Crispy played unreal, I played good, the Dakes played good. Like literally, like the more people you get putting your hand up, the more likely you're going to win, and that's how it came out in the end. You know, like in the end, like that last game, like I didn't play great. There was a few other boys that played really well, but if we could have had more. It's just that percentage game. Yeah.
What was it, just to go into that prelim with Sydney, because you obviously had a dominating period coming into it, and then I think it was it, oh God, I've forgotten his name now, Parker just ran with you the whole game. I was just watching it, and like he was really, like, credit to him, because what he did, like he didn't get picked up by the umps, but it was like, and on another day, he could have been pinged a lot more. But what was that game like just to play him? Because that first half, I don't think the Swans could have played any better. And they were so far ahead, and you're like, fuck, what's going to happen here? And then literally from Steele kicking that goal, I don't know how he kicked it, to going in 1 point, and then you're with an inch of like a flag. Like, was that a pretty surreal game in itself? And then obviously the come down of like, fuck, we were so close.
Yeah, for sure. I think like what you said, their midfield especially were unbelievable, especially getting them going in that first half. It was tough because the ground there is so different. Like it's smaller. It doesn't feel like anywhere near the G's size or anything like that. And I feel like Sydney play it so well. So it's like, you know, you're going into someone else's territory. It's their ground that they've played on so much. And we just couldn't figure out what's going to be best to get the ball in our goals, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like we were trying. And then it was almost like half time we needed that shift from Swans to not go, oh, we're going to kick more goal, or Swans, we're going to keep dominating, but instead change their mindset to, all right, let's just make sure we win this. Let's just maintain. And as soon as they made that shift of just trying to maintain, that's like the door we needed. And you saw it so much throughout the year. It was like as soon as teams were in front and it was like, okay, let's just maintain this lead, it just gave us that little window of opportunity. And then all of a sudden you see us moving the ball better, or running the ball forward more, just using handballs, whatever it may be. It was just they were out of sync because they weren't playing the way they wanted to play, and we just started to just play just footy, literally kick the ball forward, slap it forward, do whatever the fuck we had to do just to get it towards our goal, and you saw how close we got.
Mate, it's crazy. You know what? We know I'm not a Collingwood fan, but that day I've never been more, like the shout out to the Pies faithful that day. They really there was so many Collingwood fans there.
Yeah.
And like there was like sections, and they were just going at the Sydney fans, and I was like, it was a big part of like how you boys got back into it, I thought.
Oh, 100%, mate. And that was one of my biggest reasons for staying with the Pies. It's like the fans are fucking nuts. Like they really are. Like people on the street, I've got multiple people getting my name tattooed on them, sending me photos, just shit like that.
Someone put one on their ass?
Oh, yeah, on their ass. I don't know. Like, literally everywhere. It is.
Mate, you need
next level. And that's what I mean. They're fanatical. It's crazy. And you just want to be a part of it. And they're good to everyone in our team. Do you know what I mean? And they don't just pick who they like the big soccer clubs overseas. It's
It's loyalty.
Each and every player, they know. Whether you're playing VFL or AFL, it's like they'll support you, they'll follow you, and they'll keep track of what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? That's the best part about the Collingwood fans. And they're always there, no matter where it's fucking Sydney, Perth, wherever.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky, man.
It is.
But do you remember, I think it was the night before it got released when you did re-sign with the club, and you called me to let me know, and I was like, I was buzzing, man. I was like, mate, let's go. Like, do you want to go grab dinner or like fucking celebrate, you know? And you're like, well, man, nah, like, you're like, should I be excited? And I was like, bro. And I think you were like it was almost like relief for you to like have finally, all right, like, because you kind of knew what you wanted to do, but it was just like, once it's done, because it was kind of like a lot of pressure and so many eyes on you for a process that, you know, you didn't really choose to be in. Like, you're just trying to get the best for yourself. It was pretty crazy though for me, because I was like, fuck, he's not even like, he's pumped, but like, it's kind of like, he's like, phew, I think, fuck, that's done.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're spot on. I think because you got to like do all these other things, and these are all potentials. You know, you could potentially go here, you could potentially go there. And then it gets to this point here where it's like, fuck, decisions need to start being made. And it's like, for me, it was like, I always knew where I wanted to be, and that was at Collingwood. And then it was just trying to work out to get everything in a position where I could be at Collingwood, if that makes sense.
For as long as possible.
For as long as possible, I wanted to stay there. I wanted to be with the group. I've loved everything about the joint. So when it finally happened and went through, it was just like, I was just drained. Like I was
It's like you were drained.
Yeah,
That's
I was
the best way to
drained.
put it,
I was just happy. It was signed. It was done. And it was like, I knew my future. And now I could finally just go, oh, fuck, okay, I can breathe. Like, I know where I'm going to be. Don't need to stress. Don't need to get anxiety, nothing. Just relax, kick back, and just play. Like, go away or go play golf or whatever it may be. It was like I could finally do that again without constantly having these thoughts in the back of my head that, because at the end of the day, you got to start trying to picture yourself in other positions. Do you know what I mean? Because if
people don't understand that, you actually have to.
You have to.
Yeah. Because at some point, Collingwood might turn around and say, actually, we don't want you. And then if you're not thinking like that, then you're behind the 8 ball.
Correct. Exactly right. And then you go into something else and you've just, you've lost everything you've done because you're not in the mental mindset, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, that's probably why I was so mentally drained. But at the end of the day, it worked out really well.
Can you, I don't think people know, and I don't think I really know, but I reckon you and Craig McRae have like a pretty good relationship, and I think that's a big part of what's got the best out of you and made you obviously want to be at the club as well as what you've just said. But can you tell us about that relationship and obviously his impact? I mean, you're second last a couple of years ago to go on with an inch. I reckon Geelong were buzzing that you guys didn't beat Sydney to the grand final.
Fly's been honestly, he's been one of the best things that's ever happened to the Collingwood Footy Club. I think to bring a coach in like him, he's probably not the biggest name you've ever heard of. People probably wouldn't have even known about him. But they bring someone in because of the character that he is. And as soon as he started, he just had this automatic impact and he just built relationships straight away, bang, off the bat, got to know the boys, knew everyone from the top down. And then from there, it's like we just grew, like I grew trust with him and he grew trust with me. And it was just like we're on this journey, but he's just this new age coach where he doesn't focus on the mistakes in the game. He'll focus, 70% on the positive things and 30% on the things maybe we could work on for the next game.
Right.
But even if we lost, it wasn't the other way around where 70% was the negative, 30% positive. It was still 70% positive, 30% negative.
Yeah.
So you're going in open-minded going, that's okay. We're not going to get a grilling here. We're just going to go in and learn.
Yeah.
And that's changed the game for like our team, especially because with young boys, it's like early in their career, it's back in the day, it was confronting at times. Like you'd see clips of you not doing something you should have done on the ground.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in your seat going, fuck me. Like you just want to slide off your seat. Literally, you just want to hide.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's like they can go in and they can just be better the next time instead of, I don't know, like having to sit there being embarrassed for something, which we all do. Do you know what I mean? There's times where we all should do something, but we haven't done it.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to change the game, and I think it's the future of footy.
Yeah, because you've got so many young guys in your team too, so you have to be.
And you look how good all our young guys were. Do you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
High in confidence, enjoying footy, and that was the best part.
Is that kind of rejuvenating for you? Because I reckon you were that kid in like 2017, 2018, in a sense, like playing at a level beyond your age bracket, and you're kind of seeing that with so many players in your team. So it must be pretty cool to kind of relate to that in a sense.
It is. It's awesome. Like you just want to see kids get opportunities and grab it. And that's the thing, like no matter who it was, always popped into our team. Like if they're in or out, they came in, they played a role and they were important. Whether they only got 5 touches, they were still important because they knew where to be or, they just tackled hard, whatever it may be. Like we got players that do that and that's their role and it means more to our team than anyone could imagine.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to open up, I actually hope you don't mind me speaking about this, but was one of the things that amazed me about Craig McRae, and when I was speaking to Jackie, was she was walking past Craig McRae's partner on the plane and she was reading a book about ADHD. And Jackie's like, oh, why are you reading that? Because Jackie's been obviously doing so much research on that. And she's like, oh, we want to understand Jordy more. And that was just like amazing to me because like in soccer, you don't really get that love. And I was like, that was pretty taken back. But I just wanted to like talk about that because like I always like self-diagnose, I've got ADHD in this because I'm hyper or do that. But like what does it actually like mean? And like how's that kind of, I guess, affected view in like a really regimented space? Because you've always got to be here on time, you got to do this, do that.
Yeah.
It kind of clicks with ADHD, I guess.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I'm still learning about it now. Do you know what I mean? But it's almost like this hyper focus and then just a massive drop off. So like people can last the whole day and just cruise along the day where I'm like balls out all day and then I'll be like, I'll crash and then I'm balls out again. Then I crash and I'm balls out. Like that's just how I am. That's how I work.
Yeah.
So, like I can't sit still. I can't go home and put the TV on and watch a movie. I can't do that. Like I need to get out of the house. It just pisses me off being inside.
Yeah.
So for me, like learning about it, it's just like you learn all these triggers. Like, like if we're having drinks, it's like I'll drink till I'm drunk. Yeah. Like I can't, it's not one or the other. Yeah, it's not like you can just
you
go.
You don't do anything half-assed.
No, I'll never do anything
like
half-assed.
I think that's, but that's one of the things I loved about you is not like more the sense of like you were always really active and proactive. Like for instance, like when I've been going through some tough times, you've always been there and it's always been you that's like, no, let's go do this, let's go do that. And it just like shakes me out of the bad space. Yeah. Because you're just always on. And even when you're going through stuff, you're still proactive like, oh, let's go, let's go to the cafe or let's go to bloody an arcade or do whatever it is, just do something just to keep doing stuff. And I never really associated that with ADHD for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, it's one of those things where in terms of footy, I wouldn't be the footy player I was without it because I'm instinctive. I just do things and people are like, how the fuck do you do that? Or how'd you see that? I just do it. And this is sometimes the issue. It's like, I'll just do it and then I'll think about the consequences after. And it's just this double-edged sword where it's like, fuck, I'm going to just, be instinctive. This is what I'm going to do. And then after it's like, oh, fuck. Where now it's like working with Jackie, it's like, okay, it's almost like I got this checklist in my head now where it's like, I got to tick these things off before something's, before I can actually do something.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you don't have that. You just go, fuck it. I'm here to have fun. Let's have fun. Do you know what I mean? And now you look back on it.
It should be in a sense because you only live once. Like,
yeah, exactly.
When it's all said and done, you'd be glad you lived your life.
Yeah, spot on. But, at times there's things you wish you could change or do differently. And now looking back on it, it's just going, I'm really lucky I had like Jackie Lauder, obviously.
Yeah, she's the queen.
Who spoke to my family and everything about it. So everyone now around me, she knows all my best mates. Like she communicates to all my best mates. Do you know what I mean? You guys are almost like fucking nets for me. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if he does this, just be like this.
Yeah.
I've just put myself like in a good position where I've got the right support around me now and I feel like I'm safe.
Yeah.
So I feel like, if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, one of you boys will be like, Jordy, pull your fucking head in. And I'll be like, you're right.
Do you reckon that's been hard to get to that point though with you? Because you had like, obviously everyone wants to be Jordy's mate and wants to be around him. Like I picked that up when I first knew you. I was like, fuck me, man. Like the amount of people that are just rubbing shoulders or want to be around you. And then you kind of catch that. Are they doing it for the right reasons or?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, it is hard, especially when you're younger because you just, oh, fuck, this is great. Like, oh,
because you're a nice bloke too. Like, so you're it's not like you're pricks to people ever. So you kind of, they get in a bit in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. It gets tough like that, like figuring out the right people. But it was probably like, a couple of years ago, I reckon, where it was like, okay, you really need or not even, maybe like a year ago, it was like, okay, I got like 4 really close good mates.
Yeah.
And then you kind of branch out and you got your next group of 4, but you always know which group they're in, if that makes sense, and what you can do with each group or what you can trust or whatever it may be. But it's just getting those people, like I said. So I've got that net around me.
Yeah. I want to shift to the footy because we got to talk a bit of sport here. But just quickly on the last 12 months, and I might have touched on this already, but what do you think in your game, like skill set, has really improved the last 12 months?
Well, that's a tough one. Probably just my knowledge of the game or of specific positions. I think that mid stuff has definitely got better.
Has your field kicking always been as elite as it was?
I've always been a pretty like naturally good kick.
Because that was one thing I really noticed this year. I was like, fuck, you thread needles and like big kicks, small kicks, like really like you almost know you're going to hit a target.
But I think that was one of the things as a kid growing up. It was like me and my old man would just kick. And I was like, if I missed him, whether it was an easy kick or whatever, like he'd go make me get the ball. So you just learn, you don't miss the kick.
Yeah.
But for me in footy, it's just like, I don't know, I'm just with that instinctive, like I'm not thinking about what the perfect way to hold the ball is or how it needs to be done. I just play on that instinct and sometimes it comes off and then sometimes it doesn't come off. But at the end of the day, it was like people, especially the coaches and stuff, they take it for what it is. But usually like it comes off all right. So
going into next season now, do you do you kind of set goals or like, because I think for you right now, obviously you're just like trying to get super fit, but like, do you think beyond that, is there anything you're like I'm going to work on this to get better for the season ahead, or you kind of just kind of right here, right now kind of approach?
Right now, it's like, right here, right now. Obviously, overarching goal for this preseason is obviously to get as fit as possible. And then before the season, it's like I'll catch up with my close mates and everything like that and kind of work out to set goals of what I think I could achieve and what we could achieve it as a team, and then how my goals will impact the team, if that makes sense. So, whether the team needs something or I need something, it's like you kind of combine it all to just kind of go, if I do this, okay, this is going to make the team better. Because at the end of the day, you want to win premierships. Like, I couldn't give a fuck about awards, personal awards, anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, people remember you for premierships, you know what I mean? And if you win a premiership, especially for Collingwood, it's like, it's the legacy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you walk around the joint like your shit don't stink.
Yeah.
Because you've achieved something that every little kid practically is trying to achieve. So for me, that is ultimate goal. And so my goals are always built around how to make that possible.
Do you feel there's like a difference in this team versus the one in 2018 that went close? Like, is there a feeling that's different? Because I feel like even if you're not a Pies fan, like this is the first time everyone was kind of on a bit of a Pies bandwagon.
Yeah.
Because of the way you played your footy and like the young kids and obviously just like going undefeated for a certain period. Like, but there seems to be like a genuine excitement.
Yeah, there is.
But even on top of that with the trade period too. Having a good trade period.
Oh, massive. We had a great trade period. Bobby Hill, Tom Mitchell, obviously, and then
McStay as well.
McStay, 100%. And you look at things like that and you go, they're just filling these roles we've needed. And in 2018, it's like no one expected us to be anywhere near that.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't have like the most amazing team on paper. We just had players that were going to play their role. And that's what we did each and every week. And that's where we got to where we did. But this year, 2022, it was very similar to that. Like, look on paper, it's not amazing. Like, it's not like, wow, oh, fuck, they got so many amazing names or whatever. It was just guys that play their role and are really consistent at that.
Yeah.
So next year, if we can just do that and these new guys come in and fill their role that we've needed, like the hole we've needed, I think it's obviously exciting. And then with Craig and all the other coaching staff, they've just created a good environment. Like, this is the year where the most people have come up to me and been like, I've usually fucking hated Collingwood, but I've really enjoyed watching you guys this year.
It literally happened the other day.
Literally.
At the cafe, guys, like I'm an Essendon fan, my brother.
the last 5 years, everyone's like, I fucking hate Collingwood.
Yeah.
Now this year, it's like, oh, you guys were great, really exciting. Love what you're doing for the community, because each and every week there's always something the club's doing to support, a disadvantaged or a kid going through something, or a family even, to give them an experience that's going to change their life. And I think it just changed the opinion of the footy world on Collingwood.
Yeah. What's it like? We've got a few more questions, then we'll round out. But what's it like playing with Pendles? And he just looks like a beautiful human, mate. Beautiful man. Just great shoe. He's honestly a sexy footballer.
He's just perfect. Like,
is his leadership like? What is he like? Because he's been there for so long, and then you've got kids who are 18 playing every week, and then he's got obviously Steele as well. It's like different forms of leadership with different people. Like, how does he go with that? Yeah,
Pendles is insane, mate. Like, I'm really, really lucky that he's at the Pies, and he's been in my corner a few times when talking about my character and everything like that. And I just feel like he understands players from the oldest bloke on the list to the youngest bloke, even though he's the oldest bloke on the list. But mate, you should see him. He's like fucking Adonis. Like, you see him at training, he's ripped. Like, the bloke never stops.
Does he have an off season? Because I feel like everyone
he doesn't even have an off switch, mate. Like, it's nuts. Literally, it's nuts. Like, he'd be like, oh, I'm dropping 2 kilos, and then like in 2 weeks, he's like fucking skinny as. You're like, Jesus.
Wow.
Literally, just bang on. But you look at his career, mate. Like, it speaks for himself. It speaks for itself. It's fucking insane. Like, there's no one, I don't think, that's going to be anything like that in the future.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And what he's made from it, the opportunity he got, it's crazy,
mate. Well, last question, because this is what we've been running with this theme on the podcast. I think I'm probably going to know your answer because I know you so well. But there's kind of 3 pillars that I attest to, like successful people in sport or business, and you need all 3. But out of the 3, which one resonates with you the most to help get to from where you've been to where you are now? And it's out of drive, resilience, and ambition. Like, which one for you is like, fuck, if I didn't have that, there's no way I would have been who I am.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of hand in hand. You need them all if you want to succeed, but probably resilience. That's been the story of my career a little bit so far. So, just having that ability to bounce back no matter what it is, injuries, issues, like mental stuff, you just got to be able to get out and get the help you need in order to get back, where you want to go. And I think you can't be embarrassed by that. If you go, okay, I'm a bit weak in this area, or, mentally I'm struggling with this, whether it's relationships, it could be anything, deaths of family members, whatever it may be, like go and seek the help you need. So then you can free yourself and let you be your full potential. Because if you're still dealing with these issues, you're never going to reach your full potential.
Do you reckon when you were growing up, you thought with your character and sort of like, because you're quite a masculine guy, that you would ever do as much work in this? I reckon you do the most work out of anyone I know in that space, in the mental space. And obviously you have access to resources, but that's fucking awesome, bro.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like as a kid, I was like, fuck, I would never, ever, ever speak to my family.
Too.
Like I'd just deal with shit. Like, as a kid, it was like, you'd have a shit game of footy, you just go cry in your room and you would make sure no one come in. You didn't want anyone to see you like that. Now it's like, fuck. It's like dad will ring Jackie to check in on me and go like, how's he going? Is everything going all right?
So it's like, go to Jackie first.
That's what I mean. Like I've been lucky in like footy club, especially to meet people that have helped me so much. Like my position, I'm really lucky to have that. But it's probably been the best thing. And it's like, it's hard because there's so many people out there. It's like, nah, it's all right, I'll deal with it. It's like, you don't fucking have to deal with this by yourself.
Yeah.
Like there is people out there who are going to help you. Like come from me, like never spoken to anyone ever. And then all of a sudden it's like, fuck, now I almost ring her every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whether it's to check in or say whatever or say hello or like it's changed my life really.
Yeah. She's pretty special, man. Well, we're going to go for a run, mate. So it's been a pleasure, mate. I love you as a bloke. Love you as a footy player. Hate you as a golfer. I'll be fucking there. I'll be there next week giving you some shit on the course, mate. But been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show, big dog.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.